Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about how to survive a busy season in life. As much as I talk about being productive instead of busy, sometimes it's just not possible. And when I say busy, I mean your calendar is full of important things, not just a bunch of stuff that you said yes to just because you were asked. Busy because life happens, because the closer that you get to a due date on a project, the busier you get. Or because that's the way the year is. If you're an accountant, then it's tax season. If you work in retail, then the winter holidays are chaos. Sometimes it's not even our choices that get us to be this busy. Maybe your kid is super into sports and tournament season rolls around, or suddenly a relative becomes ill. So even if you are the Zen master of controlling your calendar and saying no to everything that doesn't serve you, a busy season might hit you whether you asked for it or not. The real key to surviving a busy season is creating habits for yourself that help keep you sane, and then making a list of those habits and then actually doing them. When you get busy, you might be tempted to skip over some of the steps because you feel like you're saving time by skipping things. However, something like preparation for your day might actually make the tasks in your day go faster than it would if you skip this step and just hit the ground running every day. So let's talk about how you can manage your time and energy to get through a busy period. Some of these tips are in fact about productivity, but some of them are also about well-being and mindset. I don't want you to just get through this busy period only to end up burned out on the other side. So try some of these habits out and see what fits your life. Even if you're not going through a busy period right now, this is the best time to get your habits right. It'll make living through the next busy period that much easier. All right, I have a lot of tips today, so let's get going. Okay, so these first tips are about planning your day. Don't worry, you don't have to do a minute-to-minute breakdown of your entire day if that's not your thing. Though sometimes a visual calendar of your week like this one will help you see when you do have time to fit all of these things in. The most important thing here is that you do your planning for yourself before you go diving into your text messages or your emails or your Slack messages for the day. Plan your day with your most important and urgent things, and then go figure out what everybody else needs from you. Otherwise, all of their things will end up at the top of your list and you will never get to the things that are important to you. First up, we have a brain dump. Now, I'm sure to some of you productivity masters out there, this might seem like the same old, but my question to you is, are you actually doing it? Some of the things with the simple productivity tools, it gets to be to the point where you think it's so basic and so easy that it's not actually going to help, or you don't really have time to do that. When I am incredibly busy, my brain will not stop. All I can do is think about the 6 million things that I have to get done in the sad little 2 hours that I have to do them. This mental space is not where you're going to do your best work. You are essentially in fight or flight mode, which means your logical brain is not in charge. To get control, the first step is to get everything out on paper. And I mean everything, even if it's not anywhere near your calendar yet. Nagging little things that you've been telling yourself forever that you're going to do, like organize your closet, or things you're not even going to get a chance to do until summer vacation, like paint the ceiling in my dining room. Anything from song lyrics to things you need to pick up from the grocery store need to go down on that paper. The whole point of doing this is so your brain can relax. Our brains are amazing, creative, and problem-solving machines, but they are crap at storage. If you have something that you're trying not to forget, the best thing your brain can do is just keep bringing it up over and over and over until it gets done. Even if it's not even remotely relevant to the situation that you're in, you're still remembering that you want to organize your closet while you're in the middle of a staff meeting. Getting it out on paper allows your brain to relax because it no longer feels like it needs to remember all of those things. Once you've got it down, now you can start a fresh list, or you can simply circle the 1 to 3 things that are most important for you to get done today. We're not talking about the rest of the week. We're not talking about the month. We are talking about today. These are the 1 to 3 things that cannot be ignored, and the things that you feel like if you got them done today, that's it. You won the day. And if you get those things done, then you can always go back to that brain dump list and pick off some other things to work on. Now, this is an if you can manage it right now type of tip, and that's to take a look at the rest of the brain dump list and see if there's anything that you can schedule on your calendar to work on. Now, I'm not talking about putting in fake deadlines. Those do not work. I'm talking about just saying, okay, on Tuesday, I have 2 hours and I am going to schedule this next most important thing to work on it then. If you're insanely busy, you might not know when the next time you're going to have any free time is. In that case, then just mark what the next 1 to 2 priorities might be that you want to work on. That way, if somebody cancels a meeting or you have some sudden free time, you'll know exactly what you should be working on next. Okay, next up is learning how to assess your day. How many times have you gotten sidetracked while you're supposed to be working on something? Maybe you check your inbox, or you get a phone notification, or your kid comes and interrupts you. Even our brains will randomly think of things that don't really need to be addressed right now. Now, I actually have several videos about how to not get distracted and to manage your attention, so do check the description box below for those. If you find that the reason that you're so busy is because when you're working, you're so distracted that things start to pile up because you're not actually getting work done in your work time. But the method I want to discuss right now is how to check in on your day to make sure you're headed in the right direction. The way you do this is to check in on what you're working on every hour or hour and a half or so when you're basically due for a break. Take a minute to consider what it is that you've been working on in that last work period, and is it what you were supposed to be working on, or were you getting distracted and going in the wrong direction? If you are headed in the right direction, great. Take a break and then get back to it. If not, then you can consider what you should be doing and what you can do to redirect yourself and keep yourself headed in the right direction. Doing this will help prevent you from wasting an entire afternoon just because you got sidetracked. And if you are one of those people that gets incredibly absorbed in what they're working on, then make sure you set a timer on your phone so that you can make those assessments and decide if you're working on the right things, and also so that you do get up and take those breaks. The last part of this process is to assess your entire day. Nothing drastic, just say 5 minutes at the end of the day to look back and see how the day went. Is there something that you could be doing to help yourself out better for tomorrow? Is there something you tried today that worked really well? This gives you a chance to tweak your process on a day-to-day basis so that you can really be your most productive and efficient. The next method is checklists. If you're a fan of to-do lists, you are going to love the checklist. If you have any multi-step tasks that you do on a regular basis, turn that sucker into a checklist. This is so helpful when you are busy. Your brain is fried, you are hanging on by a thread, and the less thinking that you have to do, the better. Because there is nothing worse than that awful feeling of getting something entirely set up and ready to go and having that horrible nagging feeling at the back of your head that you forgot to do something. For example, I have a massive checklist, actually several checklists of what I need to do to get these YouTube videos set up and ready to go. There's a lot that goes into getting a video from an idea to post it on YouTube with all of the correct settings. And if I didn't have that checklist, something would definitely get missed. Plus, checklists have the added benefit of helping your brain calm down. If your brain knows that every step that needs to be done exists somewhere and that you're going to check it before you're finished, then it will calm down and stop reminding you about stuff you need to do way down the line, but you're not even there yet. The next method is to reuse. This is incredibly important if any part of your work involves content creation. I used to be so bad at this. I really thought that every single piece of content that I put out had to be completely original. I was essentially creatively burning myself out every single week trying to come up with all of the posts. Now I'm all about getting all of the use that you can out of a single piece of content. But this concept does not stop at content creators. This is for everyone. Anything that you repeatedly do should exist in a document somewhere for you to bring up. If you respond to inquiries a lot, then that email should exist somewhere where you can copy and paste it and just change the necessary details. If you answer the same questions over and over again, then make an FAQ for yourself. Even better if you can post that on the web somewhere and stop those questions from even landing in your inbox. Anything you ever create for a presentation or a speech or a social media post for a customer or a client might have a future life down the line. Save all of that stuff in one document folder where you can find it with clear labels on it so that you can use it again. You do not need to be reinventing the wheel 100 times a day. Okay, so these next tips are all about mindset. Now, when you're in a normal period, you might be able to coax yourself to do stuff that you don't want to do with saying, okay, when this is over, I'm going to do a binge watch, or tonight I'm going to take a long bath. But when you're slammed, you might not have that option. So in order to help get yourself through the day, try alternating hard tasks with easy ones. Essentially, you're using those less stressful tasks as an incentive to do the harder ones. So if you're dreading doing a report or something that you don't want to do, then put that right at the top of the list so that you don't avoid it and you get that knocked out. Then perhaps maybe you run an errand, which doesn't take a lot of thought, and maybe you pick up Starbucks on the way home as an added reward. Then, since you've had a mental break, then you'll be fresh enough to go after the next big task that's on your list. Or maybe that's not how you operate. Now, I know this is contradictory, but not everybody's the same. So if you are not good at tackling hard things first, then switch things to be the other way around. Some people need a little bit of progress in order to get the ball rolling so that they can tackle the harder things. If this sounds like you, then start your list with 2 or 3 super easy things to get you started. Then once you feel like you've got some momentum, you can start tackling one of the bigger things that's on your list. You can even make this part of a schedule. Maybe you set 15 minutes right after your break or first thing in the morning to only work on easy tasks. And then you take the next hour and 15 minutes to really dig into something that takes a lot more effort. Then you just take your break and you start it all over again. 15 minutes of reasonably easy tasks followed by something bigger. The next tip is to look for the bright spots. Generally, when we're going through a really busy patch, we get to this like grin and bear it mode. We put our heads down and we just can't wait to see the other side of this week or month or busy period. We just want to get through it. Unfortunately, what happens is then we go through the whole thing tense and stressed out. But it's not likely to be all bad. There's usually a few bright spots across a day or a week that you can look forward to. Maybe it's a team lunch or the actual part of watching your kid play at the tournaments, even if it's not all of the stuff around it. At your morning planning session, take a look at your day and see if there are any bright spots that are coming up in the day, and then focus on those. Then when those bright spots come up, try to really be mindful of them and enjoy them in the moment. This gives you something to look forward to, which is always helpful. And then when you're in it, it gives you a little bit of a break, some rest, some relaxation that will help you just get through the rest of your day. Next up, we have pairing tasks. Sometimes the worst part about a busy period is that there are a lot of tasks that you are simply dreading doing. It can be so hard to get yourself motivated to do it, and then what happens? You procrastinate, and then that makes it worse because you didn't have any time as it was to begin with. So along with the concept of alternating your tasks is to do something similar, which is actually pairing a hard task with something that you enjoy. So one trick to get through this, which has actually been scientifically tested, is to pair something that's fun with one of these hard tasks. In this testing, they told participants that they could listen to any audiobook that they might enjoy, but only at the gym while they were working out. The participants ended up working out more often and for longer because of this incentive. So if you have tasks that are coming up that you struggle to get done and you do not have time to procrastinate on, consider what's something fun that you might pair it with. Can you listen to podcasts while you're running errands, or could you watch Netflix while you're filing paperwork? Whatever you decide to do, make sure that you are not allowing yourself to do the fun thing without pairing it with the hard thing. The whole point is to use this fun thing to motivate yourself to do the not so fun thing at the same time. So don't water down the motivation that comes from doing the fun thing by allowing yourself to do it without actually doing the work. Okay, so this last set of tips is for your well-being. Do not skip this section. There is a very good reason that this channel is productivity and well-being. And that is because, first of all, your productivity will suffer if you don't take care of yourself. And second of all, if you don't take care of yourself, you're going to eventually end up burned out. I want you to make a list of self-care items that you must do to feel well across, say, a week, and then honor that. This is a bare minimum list of things that must be done, and then you need to schedule those things across your week, just like you schedule all of the stuff that's making you busy. Set some serious boundaries around these things and make sure that you do them so that you can come out on the other side of this busy time in one piece. For example, one of the things that tends to go by the wayside if people do it at all is time for personal reflection. Reflection is not particularly popular in our society that is always looking for what's next, what's in the future, what am I supposed to do tomorrow? We're often too busy looking at tomorrow to consider how today went. Just as I said earlier, taking 5 minutes at the end of the day to consider how your day went might help boost your overall productivity, the same goes true with personal reflection time. As much as we would love to separate our work life from our home life, it's all the same person that is doing the work and being at home. So if you're struggling with your personal life, surely that's going to affect your work and vice versa. Take a moment at the end of each day, or at least every couple of days, to consider how things are going. For example, are you noticing any of your destructive habits either starting or resurfacing, and what can you do to stop those? Or are you doing great with getting a new habit started, and what can you do to keep going with that? This does not need to be some mile-long Dear Diary entry unless you want it to be. It can be as simple as 3 things you're grateful for, or 3 cool things that happened that day, 3 things you learned that day, 3 positive actions you'd like to keep doing. These are the sort of things that easily get glanced over in the course of the day. But looking back on your day and remembering them actually gives you a little mental boost. It's sort of the reverse process of the bright spots. Instead of looking forward to them, you're looking back and remembering them. The next tip is to take stress and mindfulness breaks. When we get super busy, we get all up in our heads, worrying about what we should be doing next, and actually what should we be doing right now, and on and on and on. We tend to forget that we need to let off a little steam in the middle of the day. And we get home and our jaws hurt from being clenched, and our neck and shoulders are sore from being tight, and we are completely exhausted. Make it a habit to check in with your body every time you do those little 1-minute assessments for your to-do list. So when the alarm goes off, check and make sure you're going in the right direction, but then also do a body scan. Check in with all of the places that you keep stress. Get your shoulders down, relax your neck, unclench your jaw, get your tongue off the roof of your mouth. Also, check in with your stomach and lower back and anywhere else that you find you keep your stress. And while you're on that break, make sure that you get at least a few minutes of looking at something that is further away than your computer screen. Get up, walk around, go outside if you can, or if you can't, then just do laps of the office. At the very least, go look out a window if you can, because eye strain leads to headaches, and certainly if we're not feeling well, we are not going to do our best work. And real quick, one more time for the people in the back, do not skip your breaks. Working through a break will progressively lower your productivity. So even though you're getting more work time by skipping the break, the work that you're doing is less and less efficient, which means that it's going to take you more time, so you might as well take the break and be as efficient as possible. And if you want more ideas about how you can quickly decompress in the middle of the day, check out this video. The next tip is to keep up with your relationships. When we get super busy, our relationships tend to suffer. We get so busy, we don't have time to talk, we don't respond to texts, we can't go out. While our friends will likely understand our absence, that's not really the issue here. Being busy is incredibly lonely, and if the pandemic taught us anything, it's that our social interactions really matter for our mental health. Do what you can while you're busy to fit even the smallest interactions in. Call people while you're driving, or schedule a Zoom date once a week, or you can even do online exercise classes with other people. Remember that when you're trying to get work done and be productive, your whole being matters. Don't sacrifice your well-being to get something done, because then when everything is done, you won't be able to enjoy your accomplishments. If you enjoyed this video, you'll probably enjoy my video on holistic productivity and my other one on stress relief practices, and I'll have those linked on the end screen. If you enjoyed this video, please also hit the like button. It really helps me get my videos in front of more people that need them. And before you go, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell for notifications so you never miss a video. Thank you so very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Good morning, voice. Our choices that get us to be or the busy period. I love when I can't get stuff right, even when I read it. Problem solving. Come on, voice. A customer or a client. By saying you're going to reward yourself. Now, I know this is that will help you feel more refreshed for your well-being. I'm done talking. Online extra. Oh my